Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us remotely is Penny Althouse. He's the CEO of USA Rare Earth. And the question that we're going to answer is the United States overly dependent on overseas materials for medical equipment? It's great to have you back with us. As always, we hope everyone's doing well. Tell us more about USA Rare Earth.
Yeah, USA Rare Earth, we've got a very large deposit containing 16 of the 17 rare earth elements located in Hudson County, Texas. In addition to that, we have a significant amount of lithium and other industrial materials.
And the different types of rare earth minerals, what are some of the uses that we would commonly associate them with?
Well, obviously, electrical vehicles in particular, and quite a number of defense applications, including the F-35 Striker jets and Tomahawk cruise missiles. So a lot of the defense applications contain rare earths in them, some of them a significant amount of rare earths, and the electrical vehicles as well, hybrid and electrical vehicles. And in addition to that, I guess, given sort of the discussion today around COVID-19, there are quite a number of materials, rare earth elements in various advanced medical imaging systems, including PET scans, CT scans, MRI systems. In fact, an MRI machine contains about 700 kilograms of rare earth. So quite a number of those. And I believe there's about 9 rare earths used in medical applications. All of those rare earth elements are actually contained in our Round Top deposit in Texas.
Yeah, it's really interesting. When we first had you on Trade Talks back at the MarketSite studio, our conversation was really centered around the uses with electronic vehicles and defense systems, and it really has shifted quite dramatically over the past 4 to 6 weeks. Is the U.S. currently producing the rare earths required for manufacturing capabilities for the medical equipment that we need?
Well, no, it really isn't. I mean, there is the Mountain Pass mine in California that's producing 2 rare earths, I guess 2 of the cheaper rare earths, but not necessarily with the applications required for defense and the EV sector. And in fact, those materials are still being shipped off to China for processing and are being tariffed. What we've done at Round Top or at USA Rare Earth is not only we have the raw materials, but since you and I last spoke, we have opened up a rare earth processing facility in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, which is the first of its kind outside of China. And just last week, we purchased the magnet manufacturing equipment, the rare earth magnet manufacturing equipment formerly owned by Hitachi and operated in North Carolina. And those are the final products, if you will, that go into whether it's your cell phone or into those aforementioned medical devices and applications and the defense systems as well. So what we've managed to do is, for the first time in 25 or 30 years, close the circle on the critical material supply chain. Now we have not only the raw materials at Round Top, but also the downstream capabilities to provide an end solution and actually bring manufacturing back on shore and remove this dependency on China, because we are 100% reliant on China at the present time, which is not an ideal situation.
No, it certainly isn't, particularly when you're talking about the medical equipment that is required for our survival. So the solutions that you're working on, do you think the U.S. will ever become rare earth mineral independent, like we're seeing within the energy space? How do we globally provide the solutions for this?
Well, to reach the point where we're completely independent of China, that's going to take quite some effort to overcome, but we've got to start somewhere. And what we can do, for example, with the Round Top deposit and the processing facility and the magnet plant, et cetera, is at least start somewhere. So, for example, on the magnet plant, which we recently purchased, we can actually produce, or we will be able to produce 15% of all the rare earth magnets that are imported into the United States, and that can potentially be scaled up. And I think what we need to see at this stage is at least that first step forward from the U.S. government to say we're going to get behind the rare earth sector, the domestic rare earth sector, support the projects that can come online, and then support the downstream as well. So whether or not that dependency will be, 50% versus 100%, it's far better than that 100% dependency. And we see countries like Japan who have come out openly talking about removing the dependency and actually mention specific numbers in terms of reducing the dependency. So I don't see a scenario where we're going to be 100% independent of China over the next 10 or 20 years, but certainly not to be 100% dependent. That is feasible in the near term.
All right, Penny, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you, Jill. Stay safe.
All right, and thank you for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.